One glorious afternoon, in the city of Venice, two friends video called each other. The older man, Antonio, was a very successful merchant. The younger man, his good friend, Bassanio. Antonio was telling Bassanio some gossip, but he wasn't really that interested.
What's wrong, Bassanio? You hardly said 2 words to me.
Last year, while visiting Belmont, I met the beautiful daughter of a millionaire. Her name is Portia. She is well educated and funny.
And have you fallen for her?
Bassanio blushed a little before continuing.
I can't think of anyone else but her. 2 days ago, I heard that her father had died, and she has inherited all his money, and she is now one of the richest women in Italy.
Then what are you waiting for? Go to Belmont and woo her.
Woo her? Come on, Antonio. How old are you?
Okay, then try to gain her love.
I can't compete with all the other rich suitors that are bound to be queuing up. Even the rich princes are travelling just to see her.
Well, how much would you need?
3,000 ducats.
3,000 ducats? I haven't even 300 ducats at the moment, let alone 3,000. All my money is tied up in ships at the moment, 4 to be exact, voyaging round the world. When they return to Venice, I shall be a wealthy man again. Can you wait?
So you aren't able to help me? No problem.
Okay, what about this? Find a moneylender who will lend you all the money, and I will sign the bond, promising to make all the repayments.
You're the best mate anyone could wish for.
As this was happening, Portia was speaking to her personal assistant, Nerissa. In the room with them stood an oak table with 3 caskets on it. The first was made of gold, the second of silver, and the last was made of lead.
This is so unfair. I'm an intellectual, well-educated woman, and yet I'm not allowed to choose my own husband. The man who picks the correct one of these stupid caskets is the one who I'm to marry.
That was one of the conditions of your father's will though, Portia. If you hadn't have agreed to those conditions, you wouldn't have received all his money.
Nerissa suddenly thought,
I know who I'd choose as a husband for you.
Who?
That lovely Venetian gentleman who joined you and your father for dinner last summer. His name was Bassanio, wasn't it? There was something special about him, and he acted like you were special too.
He's probably forgotten all about me.
Meanwhile, Bassanio rang Shylock, the moneylender. He was a very clever man, but pretended to be the opposite, to mislead his clients.
Let me get this straight. You want to borrow 3,000 ducats from me?
Yes, I do.
And your friend, Antonio, will sign a bond promising to pay all the money back within 3 months.
Look, here he is now.
Shylock did not like Antonio very much, and vice versa, but both men made the effort to be polite.
Hey, Shylock. Antonio here. Now, I know we don't see eye to eye, but I wondered if you would lend my good friend Bassanio some money.
Well, I am considering it, but it surprises me you're willing to sign a bond. I thought you would never charge interest on a loan or pay any interest on any borrowed money.
Well, usually I wouldn't, but like I say, Bassanio is a very good friend, so will you lend him the money or not?
Shylock was very angry.
Antonio, you have never been shy at criticising the way I work, yet I've never mentioned it. Only the other day you spat on my clothes and called me a Jewish dog. Yet here you are, asking for my help. Remember that Jews are human too. If you cut us, we will bleed. Poison us and we will die. Insult us and one day we will seek our revenge.
I can only imagine the pleasure you'll get if I fail to repay on time.
Shylock laughed, thinking it was a joke.
Speaking of penalty, if you do not pay me back by such and such a date, you will let me cut off a pound of flesh from the nearest place to your heart. Agree, and I shall loan your friend the money.
Antonio realised that Shylock was challenging him. If he turned down those conditions, Shylock would tell everyone that Antonio was a coward.
No, Antonio. Let someone else find the money.
As you wish, Shylock.
What if something happens to all your ships?
Not to worry. My ships are due back in a month before the repayment date.
Sailors make mistakes and ships sink, Antonio. Once that bond is signed, you are at my mercy.
Shylock went away, smiling to himself.
The Prince of Morocco arrived at Portia's house and was led to the room where the caskets were kept. He stared at all three and then picked up the lead one and read its inscription.
If you choose me, you must risk all that you have. Risk all that I have for a lead casket. No chance, it's such a common metal. What does the silver one say? If you choose me, you'll get as much as you deserve. This is the one for me, as I deserve the best, and Lady Portia will be the best wife I could wish for. But what about the gold casket? If you choose me, you'll get what many men desire. This must be the one.
The prince opened up the gold casket to find a skull inside. And there was a parchment sticking out the eye socket. He read it.
All that glisten is not gold, as you often have been told. You have chosen outward show. So now say farewell and go.
The prince quickly left, and Portia gave out a huge sigh of relief.
The next afternoon, another suitor arrived. This time it was the young Prince of Aragon. He too approached the caskets.
A lead casket is too crude for me, and a gold one's too obvious. I'm going to choose the silver one.
The prince opened the silver casket, and inside he found a picture of a clown, and next to it a piece of parchment which said, "This picture makes it plain to see that you have chosen foolishly. Although you are strong, your mind is weak, and you are not the one I seek." He too left.
Nerissa quickly ran into the room.
You'll never guess who's coming to town, Portia. Bassanio. He's coming to ask for your hand in marriage. How romantic.
Portia was really happy about this, but decided to hide her feelings.
Romantic or not, he will have to take the test, just like everyone else.
Bassanio was delighted to see Portia again. Portia told him about her father's will, and eventually Bassanio agreed to choose one of the caskets.
Portia was afraid that she would lose him if he chose wrongly.
Wait a few days.
I can't bear to. I need to know now whether we'll be together or not.
Bassanio approached the three caskets.
Evil often disguises herself in a courtroom. A guilty man hides his crime. Cowardly soldiers mask their bravery.
Bassanio opened the lead casket and with shaking hands read the scroll.
You have not chosen with your eyes, but with your heart. You are wise. Turn to me now, my lady, and seal with a kiss.
At the bottom of the casket there was a picture of Portia. He had chosen correctly, and they could now be together. Bassanio and Portia were married. A few weeks of married bliss turned into months, and Bassanio forgot all about his money worries. That is, until a letter arrived.
Is it bad news?
Antonio's ships were lost at sea, and that now Shylock had thrown Antonio into prison.
Give Shylock the money. Double it if he wants.
No money will change Shylock's mind.
You see, Shylock's daughter had run away from home, stealing some of his money so that she could go and marry a Christian. Well, being a Jew, this didn't please him very much, and it had now hardened his heart that his daughter could do this to him.
But we owe him for our happiness. You must go and see him at once.
Bassanio left to pack for his trip, and Portia quickly rang her personal assistant, Nerissa.
Portia told Nerissa all about Antonio and insisted that she had to help him.
Poor fellow.
And here's what she would do. Portia's cousin knew a little bit about the law, and so she rang him and asked him to arrange a meeting to talk with the Duke of Venice to discuss Antonio's case. Then her and Nerissa would go dressed as lawyers to Venice to defend him. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Who writes this stuff?
On the day of Antonio's trial, everyone, it seemed, to have turned out to witness it. The Duke of Venice was in the judge's chair. He signalled for there to be silence.
Where is Balthazar, the lawyers to defend Antonio?
Portia and Nerissa, wearing their disguises, stood up and answered.
Here I am, my lord.
You may begin.
Portia turned to Shylock.
Will you give up the bond if Antonio gives you back the money he owes you?
I wouldn't even give it up for 60,000.
Questions were fired at Antonio, including, were you tricked into signing this bond?
No, I wasn't tricked into signing anything.
Then the bond stays. But Shylock must be merciful.
Merciful? Why?
Because mercy brings a blessing to all those that give it and to those that receive it.
I don't want to be blessed. I want justice.
Show me the bond.
She quickly read the parchment.
The moneylender is correct. The law is on Shylock's side. Antonio must unfasten his shirt and prepare to die.
You've been a good friend to me, Bassanio. Goodbye, old friend.
Bassanio looked very sad.
Shylock produced a knife from his clothing.
Take care when you cut Shylock.
Why?
According to the bond, you can cut off a pound of flesh closest to his heart, but there is no mention of blood. Shed one drop of Antonio's blood, and the state of Venice will take possession of everything you own.
Shylock stared at Portia. He knew he'd been outwitted.
Give me back my 3,000 then.
You've already refused the money in open court.
According to the law in Venice, if someone plots to take another man's life, half of his property will be confiscated by the state, and the rest given to the victim.
I've lost everything.
Will you show Shylock any mercy, Antonio?
Antonio looked at poor Shylock and felt really sympathetic towards him.
I wish to end this hatred between the two of us. Shylock, keep my half of the property as long as you agree to become a Christian.
The Duke announced.
The case is closed. All are free to go.
The courtroom cheered. Yay!
Bassanio caught up with Portia, still unaware of who she really was because of her disguise.
Master Balthazar, you have saved my best friend's life. I promise you, I will give you all that I have to say. Thank you.
Then I will have your gold ring.
But this is my wedding ring. I promised my wife I would always wear it.
And you swore to me I could have anything I asked for. Your wife is married to a man who can easily break a promise.
When she learns how much I owe you, my wife will understand.
Oh, I know she will.
He reluctantly took off the ring.
Here, you may have it.
Nerissa and Portia left, and then they took off their disguises and they waited for Bassanio to arrive home.